What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today, you see, I've already shown you every single card coming in Mass Mutation, new cards. We are worried largely about new cards here, cards that weren't in previous sets. But what I haven't done is tell you which the best cards are, and that seems rude, quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen. So let's fix that now, shall we? Now, there's so many honourable mentions here. There are a lot of good cards in this set. So let's go through a very quick speed round of cards which made my short list, but didn't make the list overall. Maleficorn brings 4 damage enhancements into your deck, and every time you resolve one, you resolve it again against the same creature. That's a little bit good. Speaking of enhancements, Cronus brings 2 draw enhancements into your deck. But every time you resolve a draw enhancement, you also get to archive a card. Build up archive for a big turn later. Scrivener Fabian, I shouldn't mention these are in house order, they're not in any particular order here at all. But Scrivener Fabian brings 2 capture enhancements into your deck, and every time you resolve a capture enhancement, you may instead steal an amber, which is way better than capturing. And for a Capturer brings 2 amber enhancements, 2 damage enhancements, and 2 draw enhancements into your deck. But every time you resolve any one of them, you may resolve it as a capture icon instead, which is a little bit silly good for enhancements. High Priest Tolvus is a very nice Sanctum creature, 4 power, 1 armor, and every time you reap, you may exalt it. And then when you do, you may resolve your next action card and return it to your hand instead of placing it in your discard pile. So you get to keep really good action cards for the future while playing them. Masterminding is one of my very favourite cards in the set. It's a 2-power creature with elusive, and at the end of your turn you put a scheme counter on it. And then at one point you may use the action to remove all the scheme counters, stealing 1 amber for each counter removed in this way. So, up to you, ladies and gentlemen, how far you want to take this. Love that card. Boniffing, when you play it, steals 1 amber for each forged key your opponent has. Stealing on play is good, but this is a very variable card. Ensign Alsamra brings in 3 draw enhancements and has an action that lets you reveal a card from your hand and resolve all the bonus icons on it as if you played it without having to play it. So you can still play it in the future and resolve those same bonus icons. That could get silly. And Anthony, or ANT1-10NY, Anthony. When you play, you capture all of your opponent's amber, and at the end of your turn, you move 1 amber from it to your opponent's pool. Take it all now, give it back slowly. All great cards, did not make the list. In at number 10, we've got Mark of Dis. And in a break from my previous top 10 videos, I have not tried to include at least 1 card from each house. I've tried to do an honest top 10. We'll see how it goes. Mark of Dis is an action card that gives you an amber bonus, deals 2 damage to a creature, and if they're not destroyed, your opponent must use that house as their active house next turn. Gives you an amber bonus, deals damage, and gives you house control. Sure, if you want to lock your opponent into playing Mars, they've got to have, it's the only way I'm going to get Mars into this video, they've got to have a Mars creature on the board that won't be destroyed by 2 damage, but still, house control is awesome, and you get the bonus amber, and you could just use this to destroy a weak creature if you wanted to. It's pretty good. Techno-Fiend is a 3-power 0 armor creature, and every time you reap, you may discard a card from your hand and draw a card. Doesn't give you any more cards, but it does allow you to cycle through your cards in a way that you just generally aren't able to do. This is good. It means you get rid of a card you don't want, and there's a chance to draw a card that you do. And maybe you don't, but that's fine. A chance of drawing a card you really need is way better than not having a chance. There is so much to like. Oh yeah, and when it's destroyed you steal an amber, just in case the reap skill wasn't good enough. Yeah, this does a lot. Speaking of which, Novu Dynamo. This is a huge creature. 8 power, 2 armor, which is a lot incidentally. And at the start of your turn, you may discard a Logos card from your hand or archives, and then gain an amber. Otherwise, destroy it. Now, if you don't have any Logos creatures in your hand or archive, or you have them but you're not willing to get rid of them, yeah, fine, Novu Dynamo gets destroyed. But it's an 8 power, 2 armor creature, which is gigantic. And as long as you've got a Logos card in your hand or archives, you get to gain an amber. Bearing in mind, this isn't just on a Logos turn. So on a non-Logos turn, you can discard a Logos card, and then at the end of your turn, you're drawing more cards. Essentially, you're constantly drawing more cards because you're discarding cards from your hand. It's a really good thing, ladies and gentlemen. A really good thing. Plus, 8 power, 2 armor. Matter Maker is a lovely artifact that we see over in the Star Alliance. And it gives you an amber bonus. And says that you may play upgrades as if they were in the active house. Now, do please bear in mind that the Star Alliance have lots of upgrades. It's kind of their thing. And I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, it's just crazy good. Because you constantly get to attach extra upgrades, which gives you extra amber or gives you extra tricks, or it does so many things. Then we got cards like Away Team that when it's destroyed, you put each upgrade on it into your archives. So you get to save them for the future, which is a very good thing. Get to reuse them again, get that amber. Hayden Oswin, that when you reap, you get to gain 1 amber for each upgrade on Hayden. So you attach them all, and bearing in mind, you can attach them from your other houses. It's not just Star Alliance. Then reap and gain an extra amber for each upgrade on it. Or we could do the same thing, but fighting with Z-Force Agent 14. Though do remember, you need to survive the fight in order for that to happen. And then we've got stuff like Commander Dragar, where after an upgrade is attached to it, or one of its neighbors, you gain an amber. Yeah, upgrades can get silly in the Star Alliance, and Matter Maker is one of the things that really facilitates that. In at number 6, we've got Rad Penny. Rad Penny steals an amber when you play it. And in that regard, it's very much like Urchin. And we've all been playing Urchin for a while, right? Urchin is good. We like Urchin. Here's the thing. It doesn't have elusive like Urchin. It is more easily destroyed. Oh no, I hear you say. What a terrible thing. No. Good thing. Because when Rad Penny gets destroyed, you shuffle her back into your deck. So what you really want to do with Rad Penny is play it, and then get it again to play it again. And the fact that when it's destroyed it gets shuffled into your deck makes it so much easier to reuse this over and over again. I prefer Rad Penny to Urchin, and I don't think it's terribly close. I'm a fan, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a big fan. In at number 5, we've got Hapless Cadet. Now, in terms of my favourite cards of the set, this might be number 1. The artwork alone is amazing. And if anybody watching this ever sees that Brandon is selling prints of this, signing them, etc., let me know. I want to pick one of them up. 3 power, 0 armor creature with Taunt. You can't attack its neighbours, you have to attack it. But when it's destroyed, your opponent loses 3 amber. So you force your opponent to attack Hapless Cadet and then punish them for attacking Hapless Cadet. It's kind of fun, ladies and gentlemen. It's kind of fun. In at number 4, Master of the Grey. Now, Master of the Grey is just a 4 power creature that stops your opponent resolving bonus icons on all of their cards. And you do have an armor, it is Sanctum at the end of the day. I love this. This set, Mass Mutation, is built around bonus icons, enhancements. We see so many cards that bring them in, and I've already shown you a few cards in this video that actually give you extra bonuses or extra ways to use them, etc. This turns them off. This card basically counters Mass Mutation. It's a bit silly. And honestly, maybe should have been higher. But I stand by what I said. In at number 3, we've got Johnny Longfingers. And if you want to swap 3 and 4 around, I wouldn't be upset. I'm already starting to think I maybe should. 4 power, 0 armor, and each friendly mutant creature gains destroyed, steal an amber. Obviously, if you don't have lots of mutants in your deck, this won't be very good. But a lot of the time you will, and all of them let you steal an amber when they get destroyed. This is wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely wonderful. It means that all of your mutants are constantly stealing when destroyed, or not being destroyed, which means you can reap, fight, whatever it might be. It's only for friendly mutants, not your opponent, and it is destroyed, not on your opponent's turn, etc. So you can literally just chuck your mutant creatures at your opponent's creatures, make sure they get destroyed in battle, and then get the benefit of this. This is going to give you a lot of stealing. It's very deck dependent, but I feel really, really good about this. In at number 2, we've got the gigantic creatures. And I'll be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, there are 3 of these, and I don't feel like I should have to split them up, so I'm not splitting them up. Please feel free to be angry at me. What we have is, over in Untamed, we've got Niflkong. Now, Niflkong is a 12 power 2 armor creature. Remember, you have to play both parts together to play it. When you play, you search your deck and discard pile for any number of Niffle creatures and put them in your hand. Bearing in mind, Niffle Ape and Niffle Queen are both in the set. So, yeah. You could well have a bunch. And essentially, this gets all of them out regardless of where they are. Then when you fight or reap, you may destroy a friendly Niffle creature, deal 3 damage to a creature, steal an amber, and destroy an enemy artifact. This does everything. You've got a gigantic creature, literally and figuratively. It searches out so many of your creatures, bearing in mind you'll search them on an Untamed turn and be allowed to play them immediately. And then if you're willing to destroy them, you are dealing damage and getting rid of artifacts and stealing amber. This is good. Deacylus is a 20 power creature, and when you play, you capture all of your opponent's amber. And you deal 5 damage to an enemy creature, because, you know, capturing all of their amber isn't apparently good enough. Then when you fight or reap, you move an amber from Deacylus to the common supply. Remember, when Deacylus gets destroyed, your opponent gets all the amber back. This stops them doing so. And you deal 2 damage to each enemy creature in the process. Oh. Yeah, that's actually kind of ridiculous. But I still don't think it's the best. I think Ultra Gravitron is the best. I love Ultra Gravitron. 10 power, 3 armor. When you play, you archive the top 5 cards of your deck. And it's random archiving, so it could go wrong, etc. You could end up just building up a giant archive of different houses, which just clogs your hand, boo hiss, etc. But then when you fight or reap, you discard a card from your archives, purge a creature, friendly or enemy, and resolve each of its bonus icons as if you'd played it. You just get to purge any one of your opponent's creatures regardless, assuming they don't have a ward counter. And then you get to resolve all their bonus icons as well, if they have any. And bearing in mind, bonus icons are just... they're given out randomly, so they could well have them. It's a little bit silly. And yeah, I told you a while ago that the 7 sins were going to be number 1 unless something amazing was revealed. The 7 sins are still number 1. I don't think there is anything in the set which is on a par with the 7 sins, and I don't think it's terribly close. For me, they are the very, very best cards. Now, some of them are better than others. Greed lets you draw an extra card at the end of your turn for each friendly sin creature. Assuming you've got 7, that's an extra 7 cards during your turn. That's a bit dumb. Sloth, if you did not use any creatures this turn, you gain 1 amber for each friendly sin creature. So again, use no creatures, gain 7 amber, which is a little bit over the top silly. Gluttony, when you play it, you exalt Gluttony once for each friendly sin creature. So hopefully you're exalting it 7 times, taking 7 amber from the common pool and putting it on there. And when you reap, you move each amber from friendly creatures, all of them, to your pool. And I know that your opponent gets a turn to destroy Gluttony, but we could look at Pride, that when you reap, you ward each friendly sin creature. giving it a ward counter to protect it. Wrath is free power, free armor with taunt. You can't attack its neighbors, you have to attack it. Skirmish, if it starts a fight, it gets no damage in return. And Poison, which if you deal any damage, you destroy. So that can take down anything while protecting you, and you've got a ward counter, which is kind of good. Envy, if you've got 2 or more friendly sin creatures, you capture all of your opponent's amber. And then Gluttony, when you reap, will move it all to your pool. So if you get both of them down at the same time, reap with Envy, capture all of your opponent's amber, reap with Gluttony, move it all to your pool. And then you've got Desire that increases the cost of forging a key by 4 for both players. But when you reap, you get to forge at current cost, reduced by 1 for each friendly sin creature. So both of you go up to 10 amber to forge, but if you've got all 7 sins, you then go down to 3. I remain convinced that we are going to see 7 sins decks with all 7 sins that are going to be over the top brokenly good. And if anyone disagrees with me and you pull a 7 sin deck, hit me up on Twitter at the Wossy. I will want to buy your deck. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about all of this. That's my top 10 list. I feel like 1 and 2 are a big way above the rest. I feel like 3 and 4 are very much 3 and 4, though I wouldn't mind if you switch the order around. After that, I feel good about 5 to 10, but I do feel like 5 to 10 are a step below 3 and 4. But I'd like to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts, be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk Keyforge and all kinds of other games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, all kinds of fun stuff. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.